I think the battle is in our generation, being Gen Z, which is coming up. I think it's happening in high schools and it's happening in colleges. The battle is against Marxist ideology. It comes in the critical race theory. It comes in the form of critical gender theory. All these.
Except critical race theory isn't really being taught in schools.
I hear that all the time. So I see it on the ground.
Critical race theory is being taught in Cape Cod?
Absolutely.
How so?
A lot of it through the sex education. That's where a lot of it is.
That's where critical race theory is taught?
Some of it is, yes. Some of it is.
What does sex education have to do with critical race theory? How do they teach that?
How do they teach it? They're basically pinning the different sexes against each other and different races, all within the sex ed.
But that's not what critical race theory is.
No, it's not. It's not. But critical race theory is basically separating and having groups against each other, the whites and
I thought critical race theory was teaching about slavery and teaching about history.
Not so much about history.
The whole purpose of critical race theory is to provide Americans with a way to understand the legacy of racism, even though those stories sometimes hurt.
We're not a story of racism. I think we have to look at ourselves in the perspective of world history.
But we were a racist country for hundreds of years, weren't we?
Not a racist nation. We are a nation with maybe a few racist institutions that we spent our own blood fixing.
Slavery's a pretty big racist institution, isn't it?
We spent our own blood fixing that.
I believe it's time that we have a court that reflects the full talents and greatness of our nation.
Joe Biden just named his Supreme Court nominee.
My nominee for the United States Supreme Court is Judge Ketanji Jackson.
What do you think of her?
Well, I think any nominee that really has come before the court or before the Senate in the last 10 years has been definitely qualified for the office. Whether I agree with her on stances is another thing. I don't appreciate when the president likes to make a remark like, I'm only going to pick a black woman to be our Supreme Court justice.
Donald Trump said he was only going to pick a woman to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, and I think a woman picking to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg is definitely admirable. I think that he should have left the playing field open to picking a man candidate as well.
So Ronald Reagan, when he said, I'm going to put the first woman on the U.S. Supreme Court, he should not have said that.
Well, it's definitely, if you have a woman who's qualified for the job, when Ronald Reagan appointed Sandra Day O'Connor, it was definitely a historical moment, and I don't think that, obviously, I'd love to see more women on the Supreme Court. It's not about your sex or your race when it comes to serving on a Supreme Court like this. It's about your qualifications for the job, who's best fit to serve on the Supreme Court, and who's going to make the right decisions on behalf of the American people. And it shouldn't just come down to whether you're white, black, or woman or male.
What about, though, the people who engaged in violence on January 6th?
You mean the cops?
You think it was Antifa that carried that out?
I know for a fact.
I don't hear the conspiracy stuff as much from younger conservatives as I do from older folks.
I think as young people, surprisingly, one of the things that we have is and believe me, there are a lot of people who are like on the polar opposite side of the spectrum with what I'm going to say, which is that we've seen so many fat bureaucratic cats in Washington just constantly going after each other, one after another, always fighting against each other. So I think one of the things with our generation is that we learn to have respectable conversations, because we have seen time and time and again people that have no idea how to have a proper conversation don't get anything done.